Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome back to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
JD.
You guys don't seem excited. We're starting off 2023. Woo!
I saw a meme that says, this is the year of the rabbit. It should be much better than 2022. And behind was a picture of the rabbit with a skull next to it and the blood on its
My kind of rabbit.
Have you seen
and
the
the Monty
meme?
Python crew yelling, run away.
Have you seen the meme where you take 2021, 2022, 2023, and you add all the numbers together?
And it's 666.
666.
Yep.
So that is not the way the ancients use numbers.
I know. That's not how numerology works. We know.
But, well, numerology doesn't actually work to begin with. So, like, the rules are kind of open to interpretation.
Well, depends on who you ask. I don't know much about numerology. I just know that there's a lot of people who believe in it.
You know, 666, The Number of the Beast, is the best album from
From Iron Maiden.
from Iron Maiden. Thank you.
Even the
That's
number
Slayer, that's not right.
666 was a mistranslation of some ancient Babylonian term for Satan, for demon, which
Caesar.
was later
Nero.
co-opted. Like it was all
Nero.
was-
It's Nero.
yeah,
Caesar.
yeah, that's
It's-
it, right? Yeah,
The one explanation I heard one time, and I was like, okay, well, 777 means God, so 666 is imperfect.
When has that ever been? Who has ever said 777 means God? Some random dude just said that in 1994, and people are like, oh yeah, absolutely, 777. There's not anywhere. That's
It's
never
not in the
shown up
Bible or anything.
It's not in
no.
anything. Like no one's ever said that until some random ass Discovery Channel show.
Oh, my best was, did you ever see, is it End of Days? The Arnold
with
Schwarzenegger?
Arnold? Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah, and their whole thing was, oh, well, you know, in dreams, numbers are upside down, so 1999 was actually 666.
That's what people say. Well, there's an episode of Batman the Animated Series where they go, Bruce knows he's in a dream because you can't read in a dream, and that always stuck with me. I'm like, I read in dreams all the time. You absolutely can read in a dream.
Yeah.
you know, Ben Franklin once said, "Don't believe
Hey.
every quote attribution you've ever heard."
So when I was doing videos, confession time, I did this. I used to do the state video for the state of Illinois, the wrestling tournament, and blah blah blah. Right, I had this big videos on the jumbotron, and then one year I put a quote on there about wrestling. I don't remember the exact quote. Goes, wrestling is like the most important, like it's a combination of theater and athletics, and it was
Right.
a decent little quote. My brother was like, "It's okay," and I had the next part of it fades out. Abraham Lincoln. He goes, "Wow, did he really say that?" I looked at him and I said,
Oh my God.
Could have said it. He didn't. And he started laughing. And then a day later, when it was on the Jumbotron, the whole crowd went, oh. I looked at my brother. I'm like, see, I told you. It's more
my
impressive.
God.
Anything sounds impressive when you put Lincoln's name next to
Oh
it.
my God.
4 years later, a dude goes, I was going to get that tattooed on my back, but I could not find any corroboration. I had a few at that point. I'm like, I would have owned you for life. Yes. So, never trust any human beings. We're all evil.
Especially those who wrestle. Oh, wait.
Oh, show. What are you chewing on? Hey. All right. Sorry.
Now you're wrestling with a dog.
I just got to make sure he's a chewer, man. Still a puppy. Hang tight. He's got
All
something
puppies
I'm
are
supposed to have.
Hmm.
Well, while we're waiting for JD to play with his dog, how was your break, John?
Kind of restful. I mean, it was a break. I was supposed to go spend some time with my sister,
Yeah.
and instead her family her oldest came down with COVID. Went the last time they went for their boosters, he was sick. He couldn't get his booster. And of course, he's the one that got COVID. Then my father, being the person he is, doesn't believe in masks, went to pick up my nephew at the school with no mask. And so we had to watch for them. And then one of my other brother's families came down with some RSV thing that they had for a week. So I spent the entire time up in Connecticut couch surfing with friends.
Okay, then.
And, doing present exchanges in garages. It's like somebody did make the mistake of giving me a KitchenAid Professional 5+. And the first thing I did when I cracked that puppy open was I made 3 dozen cookies. And then I looked at them and I said, I made all these cookies and I'm on a diet. Mistakes have been made.
I have known you for over 10 years and you have never baked for me.
I don't see you in person.
Well,
and
we could make
doesn't
plans
travel
to see
very
each
well
other.
in UPS. Let me tell you, I've had UPS destroy
You've talked
an
about your
$800 mower 3 times.
You've talked about your sourdough bread like endlessly, and I have never had it.
I know. Fine. Next time I go out with you guys, I'll bring something. My patented Jimmy cake or something. Or the thing is, somebody else decided. My family doesn't talk to each other, so I've got 2 KitchenAids. So one of them's going back, and I'm getting myself a bread maker.
Oh, there you go.
Because I am just that if you were to think of like hot male presents, that it
I
would
beg
be,
your pardon?
It would be bread maker and baking cookies.
Hot male presents. Here,
Uh-huh.
I have a hot male presence actually.
Well,
I've had a Hotmail account for a long time.
That's a good one. I also have a Hotmail account. People go, "Do you still have a Hotmail account?" I'm like, "Can't get JD.Oliva anywhere else."
Oh God, I didn't
stuck
even
with
catch
Hotmail.
Nice.
That was Dave.
All right. So then anything else, John, or is that, you're just going to start baking cookies and bread until you're 500 pounds? Is that the plan?
No. I managed to only gain 2 pounds over the holiday, and I'm
lucky you.
And I'm going to lose another 10 now. It's time. So, but otherwise, everybody got better and all that. So it's just that we've got to get past this COVID thing. This is ridiculous.
I don't know. I mean, they're saying that it might be endemic now, like every.
Oh, it's endemic.
Yeah. And it's like, and there's new strains that keep coming around. They're more transmissible, but they're not as deadly. So it's like, I think it's going to just become like the flu.
It's the
There'll
flu
just be
now.
a new shot every year.
Right. The problem being that a lot of people, because of things and stuff the last couple of years, people aren't getting the shots because it's become, like.
Oh, I got mine.
Oh, me too. Mine. I've got like 5 and going for 6 I've got one more month and I get to.
Do you
I get another one in a month and I get my free Sunday. So.
Oh, it's Sunday. Okay.
Well, yeah.
I like a free Sunday.
They're punching the cards. They've run out of space on my original card for.
Subway started that. And they don't get the credit, right?
Well,
Subway
because they also came up with Jared, so it's kind of a wash.
They didn't come up with Jared. They just hired a guy they thought was a good executive, be a good spokesperson. Who knew that he had so many skeletons in that closet?
Just literal and figurative.
Literal and figurative.
Anyway, speaking of skeletons, how was your holiday, JD?
I just coach wrestling. That's like all I do this time of year. We're on break for the high school, which is great. We start tomorrow. And before the show, I told you guys I'll get my syllabuses ready because I teach a semester course, right?
Yeah.
So I taught 4 of the same class last summer. And this year I'm just teaching 2 of the same class. And then I've got graphics 2 and video production 1. So I'm teaching 3 classes as opposed to just 2 this semester. So it's a little different for me. So I'm just getting ready to go for that. But other than that, all I did over break was coach. That's it. I coach our high school team. I coach my kids' team. My wife has pneumonia, or now she's coming back from pneumonia. So all I've done, it's like one long day. I wake up, I take the kid, we go to practice, then we go hang out, then we go to his practice. And then on those days, I have a competition, or we'll go to the mall or something. Like it was long.
I worry about your wife. She seems to get sick a lot.
She gets sick a lot. She's got an she's got some immuno issues.
Yeah.
And she's always like, this will be 25 years that we've been together coming up in February.
Wow.
So, and in that time, she has just been constantly sick. And then we took I told you guys before the show, the kid's allergic to the dog. The kid is me mentally and physically, but he's got a lot of my wife's like predilections. Like he gets sick, but she doesn't listen to the show. He handles it better than she does. Like she'll be like dead to the world. He's like, I'm fine. And he runs around like a crazy person, So, but he was supposed to have a tournament today, but we didn't go because he had a little fever last night. And Michelle's like, it's not responsible for us to bring him to a tournament. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I slept for 9.5 hours because we had a tournament in northern Wisconsin yesterday for 2 days. And I came down and passed out on the couch and didn't move for 9 hours. So I'm like, you know what? Good for me. So I've just been super, super busy. And it's good to be busy. Yeah. How was your house?
I was going to say, get anything good for Christmas?
No, I'm an adult. I don't give myself credit. My wife and I don't exchange Christmas presents. We give them to the kid.
If I may interject, I did get one other thing for Christmas.
Oh yeah. Doesn't that look good? Doesn't it look really good? Like
it looks awesome. It's great. See everybody who's listening to the podcast.
It's a video. It's an audio show, and we're talking about how
John
good
and I both got our copies of Hawk Hollow.
The hardcovers.
By this guy, Jade Olive. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I used to get phone calls back in the day when you would get junk phone calls. I used to get the greatest pronunciations of Oliva, and I would get tons of calls in Spanish. We're not Mexican, we are Italian, but then it's olive in all the Romance languages. So being in Illinois, people just assume Mexican. So I would get tons and tons of Spanish calls as a kid. Tons of mispronunciations. But yes, the hardcovers of Hawk Hollow look fantastic.
They do.
It cost me some money. I did not make as much profit on these ones, but it's worth it, man. They look great. I'm really proud of them.
It was so weird because I completely forgot about the book, and I get the thing from the post office like, yo, these are packages going to be delivered. And I'm like, what package am I getting today?
Yeah, I know, me too.
And then I open it up and it's like, John JD. So yeah.
Yes, I'm very proud of them. Like I said, I thank you for your patronage. We appreciate it greatly. I say the royal we, me, myself, and I, and the dog.
Nice.
So, all right.
How was your holiday, Dave?
Yeah, how was it?
Do I bring the whole room down?
Sure, why not?
Oh,
John knows.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. I mean,
what have we done?
Yeah, after.
So I think that when we last got together, my daughter had an emergency C-section, gave birth to So she lived for 13 days.
Oh no.
Yeah, and didn't survive.
I'm really sorry, Dave.
Dave,
we
I'm
went
so
to
sorry, man.
The viewing was on January 2nd, and then she's been cremated already, and then she's going to do a funeral and burial in February. She wants to do it on or near her due date, which that's my daughter. I'm not going to, I don't think that's a great idea, but because you don't want it's a weird way to remember it, but
people got to grieve in their own way, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is going to sound weird. Like I'm upset, but I'm more upset because my daughter is grieving, not because I'm grieving a child I never knew,
I do get it. So I hate to boil this, try to make this intellectual, but this is how I always, something like this. There's this, I remember when I was in college, we read about this culture in Southeast Asia, and for the life of me, I can't remember which one it is, but the infant mortality rate is so high that they don't name children until they're 3 months old.
Yeah.
So when you lose one, it's that thing of, you don't really build, it's a defense mechanism, and it's also a coping mechanism too, so you don't develop those familial attachments to them until you're for sure they're gonna grow a little bit,
right?
So it's one of those things, like you never really had a chance. I mean, I get what you're saying, because it's hard to mourn someone you didn't know,
right?
So they never really had a chance, and it's more of you mourning the idea of what they could be or what they mean to someone else,
right?
So intellectually, it makes total sense, and I'm really sorry. I hate to sound callous with that.
No,
it's not callous at all.
And unfortunately, she had a heart defect, and she developed an infection in her bowel, which is extremely common in preemies. Like for people who don't know, they get this infection in their bowel, and they can normally take care of it even with medication, but because of her heart defect. They had to do surgery, and it didn't go well, and
Sorry, man.
yeah. So that's the sad news. Get it out of the way. We're all just trying to move forward. Other than that, I mean that everything that was going on absorbed most of my time off. But
how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Yeah, exactly.
I was told by my girlfriend to say, well, if they ask what you got for Christmas, tell them you got Legos and laid.
Did you get laid in the Legos? Because I bet that would hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt. No. She surprised me. So
I bet she did.
We were in the Lego store with her kids.
Oh, really? In front of everyone? Continue.
Not that long ago. And they have Lego, has like sets that are more geared towards adults now. Where
are we going with this, Dave?
Like the more advanced sets.
Oh, yes. Really?
And they had one it's a Fender Stratocaster guitar.
Fender Bender, if you will. Yes.
But like I looked at it, but like it's uber
I'm trying
expensive.
to break John, and it's close. I've almost got Chuck broke.
Almost. oh, take a shot. And
I need some buffer.
Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so she surprised me with that, but
not really.
And the sweatshirt that I'm wearing. But yeah, no, it was other than the really bad stuff, it wasn't bad. It's weird trying to get back into the swing of things, because I had the week off between Christmas and New Year's.
I've had 2.5 weeks off. I don't know how I'm going to teach. I forgot how to teach.
Yeah. So it's like, it's weird when you go back to work, isn't it? Like,
I forgot what the hell I was doing. And it was the only thing is like this year, last year I was smart. So I had to thank myself from 2 weeks ago because I actually wrote notes of you were working on this, and I hope you didn't gain too much weight. It's like, oh, thank you, John, from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I logged in and I'm like, what was I working on? So my thing was, and I realized like I'd gotten all of my work done before we went on break. So I didn't have to think about it. And then, with everything that happened during the break, like my brain was just like, what the heck is going on? And then I forgot we ended up deploying something to production like the day before, not the day before, but like a couple of days before the break. And it was like, oh yeah, like it's working. I'm shocked. Well, no one called me, so it must have been working all this time. But yeah, so can you get off of me, cat? Sorry, I have pussy problems.
I bet I hear.
So, but yeah, so that was my break. Kind of glad to be back into the swing of things. We're back. Things will be got lots planned for 2023. It's going to be fun. And speaking of fun, we got a couple little social media madness things. And the first thing is from you, JD.
Oh, from me?
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yay.
You had tweeted out, you tagged us in the tweet, this deleted scene from Superman 4.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Isn't it awful?
And so they called it Bizarro, which
I think
John made a good.
Well, I think it's not actually Bizarro. It's the prototype Nuclear Man.
Yeah, but what it really looks like is Metallo. Because in the first part of the scene where they open up his shirt, it kind of sparks there, kind of like when if Metallo were being powered by the kryptonite.
I thought that like the girl, remember the girl from Superman, that god awful Superman 3 movie we had to rewatch last year? Like, remember how she she ends up with the computer? Like, I can't even describe the madness that was Superman 3 in one easy sentence.
Right, and that was their take on Brainiac.
Yeah, I thought she was more like Metallo than Brainiac.
I know, but like, I mean,
but it is their take on Brainiac. You're right. That is kind of what they were doing. God, that movie fucking sucks, and this one's worse.
I don't understand. Like, that's one of the things I didn't understand about those movies, and I don't know if it was because of the age that they were made, where it was like they didn't want to do Brainiac. They did their own take on Brainiac. They didn't want to do Bizarro. They did their own take on Bizarro.
Because for a long time in Hollywood, they had this notion that anything that comes from comics is inherently bad. Right? Like if comics people
or childish.
Or childish. It's stupid. So we have to make it, and I'm holding up again, not a video show, I'm holding quotations, better.
Well, that's what happened when they took Donner off of it and put the other guy in, and then they added all of that humor into it that wasn't in the original.
Richard Lester, yes.
Yeah, Richard Lester, right. Like that one scene that always pissed me off where they use super breath and the guy's ice cream falls into just gets blown into his face. It's like that wasn't necessary.
No, but superheroes are dumb, and you're dumb for watching the movie. So you have to make sure that you're laughing at it, or else you might feel inadequate, because baby boomers have a ridiculous superiority complex. But the greatest generation was even worse about that stuff. God forbid we have to God forbid we enjoy watching something fictional.
Well, even on TV shows back. Even in TV shows back then, it was the networks were always interfering because they wouldn't let good writers put their stuff out, because it was always the viewers are just too stupid to understand this. You have to dumb it down for them.
Consequently, like in the opposite take, like when The Wizard of Oz came out, remember, if you've read Frank L. Baum's The Wizard of Oz, it's not, Dorothy is not hallucinating. She is physically transported to the land of Oz. Right. In the movie, they had to give you that questionable ending of, well, was it just a dream? Because they thought that viewers were too sophisticated, would never be able to handle the idea of fantasy.
Yeah.
They thought, like, there was legitimate thought from the studio heads that people cannot possibly cope.
I feel like
not take this movie seriously.
I kind of feel like
meanwhile, Universal Studios gives us the Wolfman.
I was gonna say, like, there's this weird, and there's still people who feel this today. Like, you can't get away from it, where it's like, you can't like superheroes anymore because that's a child thing.
Yeah.
You can't like Pokemon anymore because that's a child thing. You can't like whatever thing you were a fan of when you were a kid. Once you're an adult, well, you can't like that anymore. And if you still like it, there's something wrong with you.
Speaking as somebody who's dating, that is one of my main barriers in getting a date these days, is because of that social stigma of me just liking. Still? Yeah, of me just liking, like, well, not so much the movies anymore. Like, Marvel movies are okay now. Yeah. In fact, some people are like, oh, I like geek stuff. I watch Marvel movies. I'm like, that's not, that's you're geek curious, but you're not a geek. It's like
Geek Curious.
Do you tell these women this when you date them? Because I'm starting to see what might be the problem.
Geek Curious. That might be our episode title.
I like that. That might be the new show title.
But you go into any of the hardcore stuff like Dungeons and Dragons or Pokemon or Wizards of the Coast, or
Dragon Ball,
or Japanese anime, anything like
pro
that.
Wrestling, I get it.
And it's like, and the anime is one of the biggest ones. I've literally had women tell me, "Oh, that's kids stuff. Why are you still watching animated shows?" It's like, okay, what animations have you watched where people's heads get cut off and people sprout 3 arms and then split in 2 to become demons? I don't understand.
I'm seeing why this isn't working for you, John. Like, it's starting to make sense.
Well, it's also like, I mean, it's funny. Like, people sit there and they say this stuff, but yet I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, oh, wrestling is kid stuff, but yet you're watching pro football. You're in a fantasy football league. Like, it's the same kind of idea. You're having the same kind of fun. You're just doing it with something that's adult or more.
Okay, there's no fantasy football, Dungeons and Dragons for sports geeks.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the problem being that people just have this idea of what's correct, and if you deviate from that, then you're not normal. But everybody should be free. My thing is, I like seeing people enjoy what they're doing, no matter what it is, even if it's something I not like. If they really enjoy it, like, I've got a friend up in Connecticut who's working on her boat. Like, I spent a couple of days on her couch, and she's telling me about how she's fixing her boat for days. And like, I'm not really interested in boats. Like, I like traveling on boats, but I don't, she's like literally rebuilding this boat, and she's telling me about it. And the enjoyment comes from listening to her enjoy it and, tell me about it. And all that. And
I think that's
people forgot how to do that.
I disagree with that. let me put a point here. I think that there is societal progression, because having hobbies is far more acceptable now than it was to like our grandparents' generation.
True.
Where, what did you do after work? You got fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was what the older generations did, is they
went home and got yelled at by your stay-at-home wife.
Exactly. Is you were miserable all the time. And I think that it started with the baby boomers, and it grew exponentially with the X generation, is that people were allowed to have hobbies.
Yeah. But we still haven't progressed to the point where some of the geekier stuff is.
It's better than it used to be, though.
It is. It is progressing, but very slowly.
I don't even know if it's very slow, because again, like I said, you talk to old people, like, what are they interested? They're not interested in anything. They watch football and TV, and that's like it. Like, they're not interested in things, and
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
considered like wrong if you were interested in anything. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
again, we are far better off than we used to be. But I think you're also talking to the wrong people. Like, I think that your selection process needs to be re-examined by
No,
Yeah.
it's the dating pool, like, at my age. But
you're playing in the shallow end of the dating pool.
well, there is no deep end of the
that
shallow.
works on
There's
so
no,
many levels.
I know,
there's
isn't that
no
great?
deep end of the pool at my
Right.
age. That's the problem.
Conversely, let me throw a converse one at you. I was watching these things because, again, Twitter is the best. I mean, it's a cesspool, but it is the best form of social media, where they posted this video from the 80s. 80s news shows would be like, bang, zap, boom. Comics aren't just for kids anymore.
Mhm.
And they spent decades telling the audience that comics people do this too, spent decades telling people comics aren't just for kids. Comics aren't for kids. Comics aren't for kids, to the point where comics aren't for kids.
No.
And kids don't even have any interest in comics. Like, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, like, we fought so hard for social acceptance that we left behind. Because again, this, believe it or not, guys, this is a comic show in some aspects. Like,
I forgot. There actually was an article. You just reminded me. There was an article I forgot to include, but I'll bring it up now since you said it. You saw the thing about the Joker, right?
what thing about no?
You didn't see that?
I coach. That's all I do. What do we?
The Joker's a father.
Oh, I did see. Is that real? Is that real?
Dumb.
Yes. He gave
That's
birth
dumb.
to a mud monster
Oh my.
that turned into a baby version of himself.
Oh,
He was
so
cursed
you
by
can play face.
Zatanna.
All right. Oh,
All right, it's a plot point.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of shitty idea. I'm just gonna say it. I don't know who wrote this. Probably a pretty good writer. That's a shitty, stupid idea that got legs and whatever. It's.
I mean,
dumb.
it's so
People
funny
forget
because,
it in
like,
5 years.
I see people.
It's right up there with baby hands.
I see people on both sides like arguing about this
No reason to argue
for
about it.
different
It's a dumb
aspects.
story.
But let's be honest, like, we've been comic book readers for a long time. We all know the truth. It was done for shock value to sell
That's all
issues.
anything. That's all anything is done for.
I know,
right?
but like it's such a prominent thing in comics anymore. It's for the last 2 decades, really.
Well, it was either that or kill somebody. So
3, 4, 5. I mean, that's kind of what we. I mean, this is just the nature of the beast, right? Like, we
Yeah.
just do. It's everything's just to create buzz to. That's why they killed Superman. We're coming up on. We missed the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman last
Oh
year.
my god!
Which we
That's
should have done a
wild.
show about that. We suck.
Well,
I
we
can't
did
believe missed
Superman
that.
3, so I mean,
Which was the death of Superman.
Superman, right?
Um,
Yeah. Theatrically, yeah.
But I mean, like, so I mean, that's 30 years ago. That's a nothing but a stunt to sell comics. You know,
Although it was one of the best well done, I think.
and it's so funny because everyone
It's
that was a diehard fan knew he was coming back. Like,
well, yeah, but the media is dumb. The problem is
yeah.
we've been chasing that high for decades.
yeah,
Right? It's like no one's ever quite sniffed that again. And like, it's like we're a bunch of crack fiends. Like, I just want to try to get that one more time. I just
The
try to get that one more
Memberries,
time.
the Memberries, or what was it? That
Memberberries.
South Park Memberberries. Yeah.
was the death of Jason Todd the first big
Yeah.
shocking thing, and it sold a lot of books?
It wasn't exactly
no,
shocking. They
Gwen
voted for him
Stacy.
to die.
Gwen Stacy was in the 70s. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay,
like, this is just kind of what it is, you know. Or the Gwen Stacy might have been. I don't know if the Gwen Stacy thing was a shock value to sell books, but it wound up being a shocking thing.
right,
you know.
exactly. Like, I don't feel the intent of that was like a gimmick to sell books. That was like the story they were going with.
Yeah, because like it wasn't like remember, but it's a newsstand era, right? So like it's different.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like the idea to sell books wasn't really like specific issues of books wasn't really a thing until we had hobby shops.
Right.
Right. The creation of the comic book shop completely changed how comic books were marketed and why books were created. Everything changes at that point, right?
Right.
When we started doing direct market.
Right. I was about to say, instead of buying it on a newsstand, is direct market, and they are just competing with each other, and that's it. And there's no, yeah.
So, but I mean, since then, it's always you've got to have, because again, it's hard in the periodical business to keep people coming back month after month, year after year. You know,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
also kind of
it's
feel-
antithesis to like the way big books were marketed. With like that Mort Weisinger thing of kids read comics for 3 or 4 years and then they were done. A new group of people came in and you retold the same stories 7 years later. That was the thing. After 7 years, you could retell a story.
Yeah.
You know, and then it completely changed that.
I mean, you can argue that the comic book shop is what kind of destroyed the comic book industry.
In a lot of ways, yeah, because you've been marketing to the same subsection of fans for 50 years.
Right.
You know,
And-
it's hard to grow that.
Right, exactly. And I think it's also like when the number of titles that they were trying to sell monthly grew.
Well,
You know?
that and then the 50 different variant covers and all
Oh,
that.
that's such a late 80s, early 90s thing that
Yeah. Well, but you know, it's like you said, it's like it's when you're on a schedule, like, you know, it was hard for them to continually write good stories because you're always under the gun, you know? So like it's either you have a stable of writers that are there, you know, who have enough time. Every time a story comes out, they have enough time until that story ends to come up with more stories. And like, you start stacking stories, but the comics industry never had the money for that. So it's always, you know, like you're writing your stories like literally the day before or the day of.
And then you had the comics boom and the industry grew, and then just like with everything, they expect to keep going those kinds of sales forever, and it doesn't work.
And then you get baby hands. So
baby hands is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a baby Joker.
And then the clone, was it the Peter clones?
The Clone Saga.
You know, so I did the Clone Saga for like a 4-night bedtime story, and my kid is super into the Clone Saga. And we were at the allergist the other day, and who's your favorite superhero? The Scarlet Spider.
Did you get through the whole thing?
Well, I just kind of summarized it more. Like we're just telling them the beats.
Oh, yeah. If you tried to read him a couple books each night to get through it.
So he tried to do that. He made me buy him like went to the comic store. And we found like a couple rando Clone Saga issues because it's like 200 books or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was quite a few years.
So he wanted me to read him a comic book, and he's figured out that reading comic books for bedtime isn't like a good use of time because, like, you know, just those books aren't supposed to be read aloud.
Yeah,
especially ones from the 90s. Like, but I did I know the story well enough where I could just say, oh, and the Jackal did this, you know.
Yeah.
And like, you know, so he's super into Ben Reilly. What the hell are we talking about?
I have no idea.
We're talking about Superman, the 4 deleted scene. All right. So
oh wow, yeah, that sucked, by the way.
All right, so let's move on then. We had also talked about the Guardians 3 trailer and how there's a red herring to make you think someone's going to die, and we had that long discussion. So to which Randy replied, Random Randy Savage of the Cult 45 podcast, you mean using Among Us colors in the trailer wasn't a big hint? My money is on Drax. He's a fan favorite next to Rocket. And it's funny, like, I didn't think about it until he pointed out. And the GIF I even use is when they're like all running in those space suits, and they are the Among Us colors.
Yeah, yeah. They are. It's not just that the spacesuits look like the Among Us suits. Like they're they're very rounded and so. Yeah.
Obviously, that was done on purpose.
Oh, it was. Yes. I thought I read somewhere where it literally was done that way. Like that was the point.
And then finally,
too bad Among Us, like the popular went down a year ago. But
we talked about the unceremonial firing of Henry Cavill as Superman, to which Graham Gainsford, who's at IMGForce on Twitter, said,
"It's a good handle.
Yeah,
we have to get a thing going, man. Not my idea, but when Jimmy the Guns, James Gunn, Superman movie is released, we all buy Man of Steel on YouTube or whatever platform. I'm going to do what about you? I'm going to do this. What about you guys? Not aggressive, not rude, just determined. I don't know. Like all you're doing is giving DC money at that point, or Warner Brothers money at that point, right? Like
that's what they want.
Yeah. I mean, you're giving it to the old property. I get that, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, with some of the news that has come out, we'll get to in a minute. Like, I'm still shocked about this, making the poor man think he had a job and then firing him.
I mean, like that's been the story of 2022 with Warner Discovery, which is the foundation of Warner Discovery and the fallout.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, even Dwayne Johnson, who's super publicly, who's super savvy when it comes to PR stuff, completely misplayed how to deal with these people.
This is true.
We talk about that on our wrestling stuff all the time because The Rock is like, he's royalty in that world.
Did you see that he unfollowed Warner Brothers on all his social media?
I did. That's remarkably immature.
Wow.
Remarkably immature. It's like stuff like every time I see it, I had like so and so unfollowed such and such on Twitter. And I'm like, why do you take the time to discover this on your own? You have nothing better to do.
I thought it was really weird when he's still at the time, I think No, wait. Did he still have? Was this still in the theater at the time, or it just came out on streaming? I don't know. And it's just like you still got to promote it a little bit. Like,
well, that's why they were pissed at him because I guess he fought. I don't know if you guys read the articles, but he fought like tooth and nail for a producer credit on the Super Pets movie, and then did nothing to promote it. And they were like, okay, let's see how this movie that sucks does. I think Warner like knew it wasn't like I enjoyed it because it was silly, right?
Yeah.
And again, the Marvel movies are just like, heavy. All of them are, especially this round, been heavy. Whereas Black Adam was just kind of a stupid slapdash, brainless action film, which I enjoyed on that level. It wasn't Infinity War. But I think Warner kind of had a hunch it wasn't that great. So they're like, all right, let's see how you do. Sure, we'll make Cavill Superman again. Because at the same time, they're talking to Safran and Gunn.
Yeah.
And making Plan B. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that is it. Since we were off for 2 weeks, there's not a lot of social media because I was not on social media a lot this break.
There'll be
lots more next week, I promise. And if you want to be part of it next week, part of Social Media Madness, here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of Social Media Madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thanks for that, Don. Remember, he said he's not P-Square anymore. Just Don.
Up his handle.
Don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. And on that note, we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with some news.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. Got a couple.
I have a suggestion.
A couple of interesting articles about James Gunn and the future of the DCU, guys.
But before that, I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Let's do a poll on what horrible superhero movie we should be forced to watch next.
You mean like
maybe
an old movie to do a retro review, or you mean like something that's coming in the theaters that we'll be forced to watch?
No, retro review. I want to watch a really, really bad movie.
So
not Neil Breen.
The Spirit, or
I don't think I ever saw.
You want to watch a real bad movie? Like why?
No, I want to watch a real bad movie and then review it here.
Let's see. What are some of the worst superhero movies? We got the
Phantom.
Got a soft spot for that one. I kind of enjoy Billy Zane as the Phantom.
Really?
I mean, I haven't seen it in over 25 years. Don't get me wrong, but I enjoyed it in high school.
All right. Then there's The Shadow.
Yeah. There are actually quite a few of them. Green Hornet. I didn't like that.
That was ass. Yeah.
Good. Okay. I couldn't get through it. So.
Oh, that Green with Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
What's the Liam Neeson one?
Taken.
No, Blank Man. No, not Blank Man.
Dark Man. Oh, that's a great movie.
Oh, let's review that one then.
That's Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's review Dark Man. That's one. That's an underrated one.
Man.
And I haven't seen that one in years. I haven't seen that one in decades.
Let's get the crew. I'm sure Ray will have something just ludicrous.
Well,
to say about this movie.
They did do it on Cult 45 not too long ago, so I'm sure Randy will be up for it.
Yeah, I would love. Man, I haven't seen Dark Man in forever. I'd love to watch that movie because that's.
Do you think it holds up?
I think it holds up because I like old Raimi, so I think it holds up if you like old Raimi, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was underrated.
At the time it was underrated.
Yeah, but
wait. Speaking of bad ones, Dick Tracy.
That movie sucks ass.
Yeah, that was.
God, it is bad.
You're getting close to Neil Breen territory. That's
All
like,
right.
yeah.
There's the
that's-
David Hasselhoff Nick Fury movie. I've never seen that one.
No, I've never seen it, but I've heard lots of bad
Generation
things about
X. What else is there? You ever see the Man Thing movie that came out in like 2005?
No.
it. No.
I bet that sucks.
Well,
Huh.
compared to the Man Thing that they had in
Oh, Steel.
He was the
Well,
best thing of
fine.
the Smiths. Steel was bad. Barbed Wire.
Oh my God, I forgot about Barbed Wire. That's what's her face, right?
Pam Anderson.
Pam Anderson. Yeah.
God, that was
I saw that in the
Oh.
theaters.
Oh my God, really?
I was a high school boy in 1996, and Pam
Ben
Anderson
Affleck,
had
Daredevil.
boobs.
I'm sorry, I never found her attractive at all, ever. Like,
She was good look. She was really pretty before she started doing all the surgeries on
Yeah.
her face.
Tank Girl. There was a Tank Girl.
Yeah, Tank
There
Girl.
was a
Lori
Tank
Petty.
Girl.
That movie's bad too.
Yeah.
Everyone says, "Oh, it's brilliant." No, it's trash. What did you say, Dave? Before Tank Girl, what movie did you? Oh, Steel. Steel sucks.
Steel. Yeah. All right. Oh no, the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
That also sucks.
I didn't think that
No,
was.
it's terrible, dude. Bullseye is catching shards of glass and then dealing them out like cards. It's stupid and it looks terrible.
It wasn't
No, it's
that.
bad. No, it's
it wasn't
bad.
as bad
No,
as
it's
some of the
bad.
others.
No,
Okay.
it's worse because they tried.
Well,
A lot of these
true.
movies
no,
put like
no,
no
it was
effort.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatsoever.
It was.
They
It,
tried to make this Daredevil.
it was very obvious that they were very dead serious when they made it and didn't realize.
And then like
didn't
that it
realize. Yeah, but still a little bit better than the. And it's sorry, I had Jennifer Gardner in it, and I
Talk about terrible casting.
oh wait, if we're gonna
Yeah,
talk
no,
about
she
that,
should never have been.
Electra.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've never seen Electra.
Oh God.
Oh, Catwoman.
Ah!
Oh yes, put that on our list. We gotta review that one.
I did Catwoman on another podcast.
Did you know?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Don't you wish?
It was one of these like you were a guest on the podcast and we each had to make the other watch a movie from a genre that we're familiar with. So, but it had to be a bad movie, and I can't remember what he made me watch, and I made him watch Catwoman. And yeah,
And he hasn't forgiven you since, right?
no.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Oh, how about here's a blast from the past. Meteor Man.
I like Meteor Man. Robert Townsend's awesome. How about Blank Man?
Yeah, I said Blank Man. That's the Damon Wayans. Yeah.
I actually like Blank Man quite a bit.
I never saw that one.
Is that,
That looks familiar. I mean, the promo poster looks familiar, but
It's a
I never
comedy
saw it.
Batman and Ted, like this. He's on a budget,
yeah.
It's
But you're
pretty funny.
But you're right. Meteor Man was actually.
I like
mean,
Meteor Man.
again, I haven't seen it since it came out. And that was a long time ago. But I remember it being
87,
okay.
88, something like that.
Yeah.
I saw it on
It's-
cable.
It's too bad. Like I would have suggested if it not had been an actual series, The Greatest American Hero.
That's good. That's good though.
I know. And like, yeah, like, we could go two ways. We could like torture our audience, or we could use our extensive knowledge of archaeological movies to introduce our audience.
The only
to some of the stuff they
archaeological
should watch.
movies we know are Indiana Jones, my friend. What are you talking about?
We
I mean,
torture our audience every week. I mean, come on,
We
that's
do. They
part of our
listen to
charm.
us.
True.
My kid is convinced the Ghost Rider movie is good, and I keep telling him that it isn't. But he sees this music video to like the cover of Ghost Riders in the Sky, and it's a well done video with all like the highlight clips. I'm like, buddy, these look cool together, but when strung out in the form of a movie, it doesn't work. He disagrees.
I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna agree with this. I think the only concept that I kind of liked from the movie was the like Ghost Rider, the old West version of
That's from the
Ghost Rider.
comics. Yeah, Phantom Rider.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I
And
thought
they
that
had him
was-
on for 3
that's
seconds.
awesome.
I've saved up
Right.
this power for decades for this ride. 3 seconds later. All right, I'm done. Bye.
yeah, exactly.
It's a shitty movie. It's
Yeah.
got good concepts, and the special effects aren't bad for 2007, but the movie sucks.
He's creeping at the door.
God.
Nicolas Cage. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I
So
mean,
he
like,
went- that was the peak of Nicolas Cage just doing crazy stuff. That's like
If
when
it-
it really
I
started.
mean, you
to
can
slip.
you can like National Treasure. I love
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, right?
Yeah.
He's a like when he's good, he's good.
When he's not,
He
oh
is-
boy.
Whoa, yeah.
yeah, not the bees
Wicker
and
Man?
punching.
What's
punching
the? Oh my
yeah,
god.
punching
The
bear,
bees. What's the movie he just came out with?
punching women in a bear costume. That's right.
The guy from the Mandalorian. It's like The Burden of Being Awesome or something like that.
Huh?
Is that the one where he actually plays Nicolas Cage?
He's actually himself in the movie.
I heard that's actually fun. I did not see it though.
Yes, I want to see that. I
And he's
think-
playing like the ludicrous version of Nicolas.
yes, he's
Cage.
playing the like extreme version of himself. He's down on his luck. and this like warlord hires him to like come to his birthday party, and they become friends. It's like
it's very much a take on Kim Jong-il and Dennis Rodman.
Yes, I think so.
There's another one too. He did like The Color of Space, this Lovecraft adaptation movie that's really pretty dang good. Like he's done a couple good movies over the last few years. Like he's actually trying again.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it got to the point where, I mean, like Bruce Willis even went through this for a while before he, retired, where it was just like, it's a paycheck. He just, he's
got a lot of bad. Bruce Willis's last decade and a half of work is not good.
Well, that's because he
that too.
Aphasic and
but I mean,
but there's like movies I'm sure you don't even know he's in that are just like direct to Netflix or direct to Amazon.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of those now.
Yeah. What's the last great Bruce Willis movie?
Red 2.
Red. Okay. I was gonna say Unbreakable.
Yeah, because I wouldn't count. What was the one?
Split.
Glass?
Or Glass. Yeah, Glass.
Yeah, that was just.
He's just there. Yeah, it's not his movie.
I know I derailed us, but like I just want to mention a few more, like Condor Man.
I've never
Flash
seen Condor
Gordon.
Man. How about Flash Gordon?
And Zorro the Gay Blade. Hero movie, but Zorro the Gay Blade was hysterical and fun. It was really good.
I don't think he heard you, JD.
No, I don't think he did either. I just
what did you say?
I said, what about Flash Gordon?
Oh God, no. Yeah, no.
And then he mentioned Zorro the Gay Blade. So think about that, folks. Think about that.
I didn't have that. Yeah, I didn't have Skinamax back then. Sorry.
Barbarella?
Beastmaster.
Oh my God.
Beastmaster rules, man.
I
watched that movie a lot when I was a kid. My dad loved Beastmaster, and consequently, I saw it 100 times, and that movie's awesome.
Well, you saw it because of Tanya Roberts. Let's be like, But also, it was very imaginative, like
it was
very fantasy based.
Those early '80s fantasy movies are kind of cool. Like you had Excalibur and Conan. Krull.
Let's talk about crappy movies that are yet to come out.
Okay,
there'll be a few this year. That's
okay.
For sure.
Nice for bringing us back around. Yeah.
So apparently, it has come to light that Ezra Miller is still going to be the DC Flash moving forward.
And so they ruined any effort they put into it.
Hold on. Is this official or is this just hearsay?
There was an official press release from Warner Brothers saying that they have been happy with the progress that Ezra Miller has made since going to therapy.
Jesus.
Now and again, sure, Gunn has not said that they're keeping him. And I've said this before, is they've had a lot of they talked about the $95 million they put into Batgirl. That's like chump change for what WBD is losing. They've put a lot into this one.
Yes.
So they have to, I've been saying they have to put this out. They also might have some stuff with.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. Like they're trying to make Ezra Miller look good before the movie comes out, so
when they
people
can quietly cut, because then they can cut ties with them. I have an also controversial theory about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good. Why else are they dealing with this?
I don't know.
It's got to be good.
Contract login? I don't know. Like, or they can't do anything else until they get Flashpoint out of the way.
Andy Muschietti made it, and it's the first It specifically is really good. The second It is not good, but the second half of the book It isn't great either. Like it pales in comparison to the first half, and that's just the flaws in the source material. But the two stories work better together. It's just what it is. It One is one of the best horror movies of the last 20 years. It's a good structural movie. So I firmly believe that Andy Muschietti is capable of making an excellent superhero movie. So is it possible we're dealing with this because we have so much money invested into it and we have a good product in our hands and we can't shelve this one?
This is true. I mean, they can't shelve it. We all know that. They've put way too much money into this movie at this point, because not only did they make the movie, there been a lot of reshoots. There was already a lot of marketing that kind of like fell flat. They're going to be putting more money as it gets closer to the release date.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to put this out, and it has to make money for them at this point. So it's too much of a money loss to not put it out. But I don't know.
I think it's good. I think it's going to be a good movie.
And it feels like I don't have no idea what Gunn has got in store. Like this is pre-Gunn, right? So he can't get the blame for it.
No. Now here's another thought too. Is this because it was supposed to be Flashpoint and they've just called it The Flash.
Right.
Is it possible that this does serve the point of Flashpoint? that this
Well, it
is how
has
we
to.
get into the new, but this is how we get into the Jane. Because again, they're rebooting everything. So is this how we get there? Is this Crisis?
It feels like it. It feels like it. It feels like it's the logical point to do it too. But does Aquaman come out after or before?
I think before. Let me double check that. Let me pull it up right now.
Oh, wait, that would make sense, right? Because
Talk amongst yourselves while I'm looking this up.
They reshot the Batman scenes with Affleck because Keaton wouldn't have been in the DCU at that point.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom will premiere. Oh wow, not till Christmas.
December 25, 2023.
And then Flash is the summer, I think.
I'm looking it up. The Flash will come out in June.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know what's going on because
I got nothing. Although Grant Gustin is listed in the cast. Interestingly enough, I don't know if that's just because the internet is stupid.
The internet is stupid.
And they've compiled both together. Maybe, I don't know.
Interesting. Like again, I don't know anything about this movie because I like to keep myself in the dark with these things. General Zod is apparently a villain in this movie.
He's dead.
I'm just reading you what I'm seeing.
Okay,
man.
He's dead, and then he turned into Doomsday.
And so is Feora, the chick one from Man of Steel. They're both in this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's got to be like, I have a feeling
I don't know.
this is going to be a movie where he travels through time a lot, and there's like a bunch of
It could be.
alternate universes he goes into. Like there's going to be the Superwoman universe, and maybe she's fighting those two. Where we have Superwoman instead of Superman. There's going to be Old Man Batman as Keaton. We know that already. So yeah.
So we're getting both Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, that's something they've been saying for a while.
This movie, I know, I'm just thinking about this. I'm like, this movie could be an absolute nightmare, or it could be really freaking good. And I don't know which one it is.
Well, we've said this before. Like, there have been a lot of DC movies where they have a couple like good scenes, but not a good story to tie it together. If he's just jumping through time to all these different scenes, it might be a good movie because it has to be a good coherent story going through.
But they're banking on the fact that Ezra Miller isn't going to cause any more problems.
I think that Ezra is currently under lock and key.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he's got like a couple of babysitters right now. Like he's probably not even allowed to go to the bathroom without somebody watching him.
Well, that's what should happen when you're in prison. But aside from that, I don't know, man. I think this could be a good movie. I'm just gonna lay out hope.
The new trailer is going to premiere at the Super Bowl. So
it's a lot of faith, man. That's a lot of faith.
That's a lot of money to put into this advertising wise.
Well, they don't have a choice. They've got to promote
a Super Bowl movie. They don't have to spend money on a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they never
with superhero movies. You don't have to do that anymore.
Warner has not bought advertising in a Super movie, is what I've read. I don't know if that's accurate, but they haven't done this before.
No, yeah,
Super Bowl spot is expensive.
But considering the state that they are in, they need this to be good, and in order for this to be good, they need like they're going to pack in as many people into those first few days as possible. Whether the movie turns good or bad, at least they'll have gotten that much.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though: if the word of mouth is bad, it doesn't matter how much they try to pack it in, because you don't make good money on that first 2 weekends. You make good money on those people coming back. That's where you make your money. It's a good, and we've seen it. We saw it with the Nolan movies. We see it with the Marvel movies. When the movie is good, people come back. Except Avatar. I don't know anyone that ever sees Avatar, but everyone goes to see Avatar.
So
I didn't go see it.
But
it's like, did you see what it's making at the box office? It's like the last time. It's slaughtering everything. It's the movie that nobody has seen, but everybody's seen.
How?
I don't know. Made like $1 billion. It's made over $1 billion at the box office.
I know people who saw the first one. I did not see it in the theater.
Me neither.
I waited for DVD. I did see it though, and I was just like, I don't get it, and I really don't get this one.
The seventh highest gross. The Way of the Water is seventh highest grossing film in history with 1.7 billion. I don't get it. I've heard reviews about the storyline and everything. It's reductive and stupid and just. But there's that one shot in the water, which is really.
Let's be honest. It's also just at this point just an animated movie.
Yeah, it's a visual masterpiece.
No, it's not.
That's what they're calling it.
I don't see it. I really don't. Like, I also don't get the whole thing. Like, he was waiting so long because the technology he wanted to use didn't exist yet.
Fantasia was
then obviously you care more about the the look of it than actually telling a good story.
Okay,
Right,
there's
and
two,
the story isn't good from what I've
there's
heard.
two stories in filmmaking, and this has been a struggle in filmmaking since the advent of sound. Is what's more important, the story or the visual? Like, what is film? Is film a visual medium, or is it a storytelling medium? Because the two are different things. And there's been a constant struggle back and forth. And in film history, they will tell you that the advent of sound to film changed the way movies were made. And you look at the silent films that were being made in the late 20s before the adventation of sound, and they looked significantly better. The Passion of Joan of Arc is a phenomenally beautiful movie. It looks much better than the stuff they're putting out with sound, but they had to change the way movies were shot because they had to record sound. So since that point, there has been this big, and this is legit. There's been a big debate in what is more important to a film. And there's people that are directors of photography that will tell you like a movie plot is just there to move to get you from point A to point B. Really, why you go to the movies is the visual experience. I don't agree with that as a writer, but I know a lot of people who think that way, and I think James Cameron is one of those people.
Yes, yeah, I
agree with you.
Personally, I don't do that. I can't go see a movie where the plot is so bad and contrived and everything. Like that's why I didn't like Black Adam so much. It was like every step, like it literally cookie cutter. Every scene was so cookie cutter. I could have told you what each scene was going to be before I went to see the movie if I had known that it was that bad.
Here's a good thought about, in my mind, about how that proves it wrong. Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, obviously arguably two of the greatest filmmakers of all time, right? And Indiana Jones, right? Everyone loves the Indiana Jones movies, except for which one? Crystal Skull.
Right.
Because and there's a lot of great visuals in that movie, but the story
are there the special effects have aged horribly and weren't that great at the time.
I mean, I like some of the visuals in it. Like I think it's neat when he takes the metal out and they're following it through the warehouse. Like that's a cool scene, like the alien stuff is stupid at the end, but it looks visually cool the way they did it,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, but it's such a bad movie. So yeah, but you're right too, right? If there's a bad special effect, it pulls you out of the movie some.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm more forgiving on that stuff than most people, but that's the thing. There's some bad special effects that really tear people from movies.
My brother is really bad with that stuff. Like he'll destroy a movie because of like 2 bad sequences of special effects and be like, it was horrible. It pulled me out of it. I couldn't watch it anymore. So
speaking of really bad special effects, after Wonder Woman 2, we now have the next Wonder Woman.
Oh, look at John trying to keep us on track. So that's a good one, right? Like, okay, so they're keeping Ezra, and apparently Patty Jenkins is out, but we still got Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Patty Jenkins could have been. She's a good director. She just was horrible with the story writing.
Gunn has not confirmed nor denied that. So this is all speculation.
Has not confirmed or denied what?
That Wonder Woman is.
But what did he did say on Twitter? Like someone said they mentioned Gal Gadot being out.
And he said, "What makes you say that? I never had that conversation." So that's non-committal. She ain't in. She's Schrodinger's superhero right now.
Schrodinger's Wonder Woman. Look, I think I'm starting to wonder something about James Gunn. Where did he whet his superhero appetite? Over at Marvel, right?
Yeah.
What has Marvel gotten really good at? Subverting expectations or marketing stuff or keeping us in the dark on like the big stuff. Could a lot of this be misdirection, total misdirection, so that we'll be just in shock and awe when the stuff really starts coming out?
Could be.
Yeah. Like, could there be like, does Henry Cavill, like, just throwing this out there, does Henry Cavill show up at the end of The Flash? Like, haha, I tricked you all. So, though apparently Cavill's been in a couple interviews where he's talked about being fired, so I don't know. But he is an actor, right? Isn't that the argument we always made? I mean, look at how many people got cast in Marvel movies and denied, until the movie came out or until the trailers came out. So the thought, I don't know. So here's my question, because like I think Gal Gadot also splits people as Wonder Woman. I like her as Wonder Woman. I know people. Joey from So Wizard is a good example. He hates Gal Gadot
with good direction. She's great. She can do it, but she needs good direction
and a good script.
Yeah, well, the script definitely.
What about you, JD?
She's fine. I think she looks the part. I think she's excellent in the first Wonder Woman movie. The second Wonder Woman movie, I think she's good in it. She does the most that she can with material. It's not great.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I agree. I mean, I'd like to see her continue, but
yeah, I think she's the best thing about Superman versus Batman, which is the worst cinematic abortion I've ever seen in my life. I know some people will be upset that I use that word, but it's trash. It's the worst thing that's ever been made.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Is it?
Yes.
It's worse than Justice League?
Oh God, yeah. Superman versus Batman? Yeah, it's worse than the first or second Justice League.
Yeah, you're right.
It's worse than I hate Man of Steel.
You're right, because
that movie's worse than Man of Steel.
That gave us the P jar. I forgot about that.
I was just about to say that Lex Luthor his evil plan is to make them drink pee.
I think it was I think it was Honest Trailers. What if you get a chance, look at the Honest trailer for that movie.
No, I won't.
No, because they go with the whole they cover the part where he does the jar of pee and the announcer's like, wait, I need to go back over this, and then he starts doing the list of of the points of the plan, and it's like, this makes no sense. It's like,
not only
P jar profit,
it's
and it's like
stupid. It's just stupid.
It was
like Lex Luthor is the most cunning character in comics, and he's making people drink pee.
Yeah,
the movie fucking sucks.
So, but you're right. She is the best part of that movie.
She's good. She's good in that movie.
Yeah. All right. So here's the other one. This has been making the rounds on the internet, and I'm like, really? Did Hugh Jackman reveal the title of Deadpool 3?
No, because they'll change it now.
Where he was in an interview and he was talking about like the stuff that he was working on, and he's like, oh yeah, and Wolverine and Deadpool. But like, I kind of felt like he just said that, right? Like, why would they not just call it Deadpool 3? Because they called it Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. There was no like subtitles or anything.
So if that's the title, that's smart, because it's far more marketable calling it Wolverine and Deadpool.
You think?
Yeah, putting Wolverine in there. Yeah, 100%.
In the name? Okay. I mean,
it's a marketing play.
Yeah, but I think everyone that wants to see this movie already knows this.
Yeah, but it's a great marketing tool to say, to call it Wolverine and Deadpool. And plus, I'm sure I almost called him James Hewlett. I'm sure, what the hell's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Hugh Jackman wants billing too. The actors have egos.
Yeah.
Him not so much though. I don't know.
But
actors don't have egos. Am I crazy here?
Oh no, they do. But like these two guys.
But it's Deadpool's. It should be Deadpool's movie first and foremost.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I disagree.
Really?
It's both of their movies at this. You call it Batman, or it's like Superman and Batman. Movie was ass, but it was a movie about both of them, right? It's the same thing here. It's a movie about both of them.
So we call it Deadverine.
But isn't like
Liverpool?
Denverine?
Deadverine.
Wasn't like there's a lot of argument about Captain America Civil War, right? Like it features everyone basically.
Yeah, it should have been Avengers. It's an Avengers movie. It's not a Captain America
but it
movie.
does focus heavily on Captain America.
But it's an Avengers movie. So I mean, like this one, I think it's as a marketing. See, again, for Marvel, it's different, right? They could do whatever because they've got the MCU is the hook, right? And they've earned that.
Right.
With this, the hook is the return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
But isn't the argument that this should be the MCU since it is under Disney now?
It is, but it's different because you're bringing back Wolverine. You're bringing back the guy who played Wolverine, who's had a successful film series of his own.
Yeah, I still don't know how this movie's going to work. Like,
it's going to be awesome. That's what it's going to be. That's all that
Is it going to be like its own thing? Like, it's not going to be connected to the MCU at all? You think that's where we're going with this?
No, I think it's going to be connected to the MCU. It's going to be like a crazy Claremont X-Men story with people traveling through time and space and dimensions. Like, let it be. The X-Men is lunacy. Let it be. Let's make the X-Men lunacy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Read an X-Men comic. It doesn't make it's impenetrable.
The TVA is going to be involved in this. I mean,
possibly. Fuck, I don't want any MCU garbage involved with this. I want it just to be these two guys doing their own thing in the MCU. I don't want any TVA. I don't want anything like that. I just want those guys in the Marvel universe. Don't give me a reason.
Right. The TVA may be the vehicle, but like, yeah, after that, let them just cause havoc on their own. Besides, once Deadpool gets gets into the MCU universe, right? He's still got his own time skipper, so let him just go to town.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
This movie shouldn't make sense because
why do you think the TV is going to go after him? TVA is going to go after him because he's going around like killing baby Hitler. And the first thing every time Traveler tries is to kill baby Hitler. And from that, all the
he
problems
also
start.
killed Ryan Reynolds right before he took on
I know
what you call it,
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, and he killed himself in an alternate universe.
Cool.
Where he was already fought Wolverine.
Yep.
And that's another question, right? Like I know that is like the worst Wolverine Deadpool fight you could ever want on screen. But some people are going to argue they already did Wolverine versus Deadpool.
Yeah, and it was
they'd be
bad.
wrong.
Let's fix it.
Yes.
So
they would be wrong because that was not Deadpool.
No, it wasn't Deadpool, and I
that
agree
was
with
like
that.
Super Scroll or something. I don't know what the hell that was, but that was not.
I don't think anyone wants 2 hours of them fighting, right?
They're not going to fight. They're going to make fun of each other.
Put your hand down,
I want
JD.
2 hours of that.
Oh, come on, you would get tired of it after the first 25 minutes.
Of awesomeness. I've never gotten tired of awesomeness.
Well, you could have 2 hours of them fighting. They can't kill each other.
There has to be a story reason for them fighting.
Of course, there's going to be a story reason for them fighting, but it's superfluous the fact that they're fighting.
And it can't be because one of them called another one a name, and then they just started fighting.
No, there's going to be a reason. I don't care. Give it to me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It'll be because Wolverine switched to Mint Mobile and it sucked.
All right. I would pay for that. I would pay to see that. You see Wolverine just bashing Mint Mobile over and over again.
This is for all my dropped calls, damn it.
And Deadpool shows up and goes, Ryan Reynolds is a national treasure, and starts fighting him. That's it. We just wrote the movie. That's it.
Sure.
Where do you want to see them fight? What some locales? On top of a nuclear stack again?
I don't think so. Oh, hey, I wouldn't put it past them of trying to recreate that a little bit,
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to poke fun of it. They have to.
There's no way they're going to miss.
There's got to be a joke.
Destroying that.
Hugh Jackman or Wolverine has to make a joke about this would be better if your mouth was shown shut. There's
of course.
Yeah,
they'll do something like that.
Yeah. All right. So we're all in, and yeah, I don't know. I still feel like it's just something he said in an interview, but hopefully we'll find out soon. I'm sure there'll be promotional art coming out before we know it. So, Wolverine and Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds doesn't even get top billing in his own movie. All right, and then finally, it's a positive news. Wednesday has been greenlit for a second season. So, have you watched it at all yet, JD?
I've seen the dance scene like 8,000 times because you can't get away from it.
Okay, I'm gonna controversial opinion.
What?
I watched, when I watched that episode, because I didn't see it on social media at all, and I'm like, why are people getting so excited about this? Like, it's not that great of a dance.
It's creative, and we live in a TikTok culture.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like, a bunch of TikTok moves strung together. But she doesn't even, it's not even like a fluid thing. Like, she stops and then does another move, and then she stops and then does another move.
That's
but
the
it works
TikTok
for
culture.
Yeah, it is. And but it works for the character too.
Yeah.
So it worked. Let me okay. The vast majority of movies between the years of 1982 and 1988 were essentially 6 music videos strung together with a loose plot. I just gave you Iron Eagle, Top Gun, like Karate Kid Part 3, Karate Kid Part 1, really. Like, that's a lot of movies where there were nothing, because that's what was in the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where the cultural zeitgeist is now. So
our culture.
Everybody loves it. I mean, it works.
But you're right. It was appropriate for her character. And if you want to go meta on it, there's more talk about it than normal, because it came out that she did that while she had COVID. And there's been some discussion about why she was forced to work while she had COVID.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
that's not good.
No, not good at all. It's like, but she's the one who created that herself. She did that.
Keep to yourself.
Yeah. She's the one who created that dance. Like, she put that together herself.
Yeah,
it's one of those things though,
it's awesome.
because I knew about the hype, but I didn't see the scene. So I was expecting like Fred Astaire level dancing.
No, but that would have defeated the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Right. Especially as a high school teacher, that I cannot tell you how often I have to watch kids make TikTok videos. Walk to the bathroom. There's 3 kids in the halls making a TikTok video. Like, that's what they are. They're not these overly elaborate things it's almost like punk rock versions of like Broadway stuff, right? It's super stripped down. It's very simplistic in a lot of ways. It's very do-it-yourself. That's what these TikTok videos are with people dancing.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, right? It's a little bit more primal. I like comparing it to punk rock. I think I did a good thing there, JD. Good job.
I don't know. I also think in a world where like shows like You Think You Can Dance are on TV and you see these amazing kids doing these like really difficult dances.
That's not the point though. It's not ubiquitous. This is anybody can, right? And this is clearly okay. You're starting to sound like an old man here.
Oh, I am an old man. I'll admit it.
Old man here.
I'm not as old as O'Grady, but old man Grady.
No,
but
old man O'Grady gets it though.
Yeah.
Like he's on the ball with this one. Like they're not supposed to be great. They're supposed to be raw. Dancing is supposed to be like an artistic expression. Thank you very much. I couldn't think of that word. It was an E word. I couldn't get out. Expression, and that's very much an expression of the character, especially at that point in the story. And it worked. Like again, I haven't seen the show, but I've seen the scene 6 or 7 times just by being online, and it's well shot. It's good, and you get it. It does as a writer. I say this does a great job establishing the character and telling me. It tells me a lot about this character in a way that dialogue couldn't. Right? Yeah. I dig that. We just talked about like visual storytelling versus like verbal storytelling, and this is a great example of visual storytelling and what can be done without saying a lot.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, they got renewed for season 2.
I know, and I'm looking forward to season 2. I feel like I guess I'm the old man on this one, but
I really like the show. I
like the show.
So.
I just watched it and I'm like, I don't get it. But the dance scene, I was like, I don't get this. Okay.
I do.
Whatever the kids like, I guess.
It wasn't just the kids, it was her. Like that's a dance that you would only see Wednesday Addams do, really. I mean.
All right. Well, on that note, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come in and wrap this one up.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. So, this is 2023, guys. Lots of stuff coming out this year. So I'm kind of curious. Let's start with movies. Any movies that you're really, really like jazzed to see this year, that you're excited to see this year, regardless if we're going to review them for the podcast or not? How about we'll start with John?
Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay.
So, a bunch of anime movies. I can feel it already.
Well, no, I you know what? I don't know if there's any actual anime movies coming out, but I'll tell you. Let's see. Okay, movies I can't wait to see: Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, because it looks like they finally made a good Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah,
and the Marvels. I can't wait to see what they do with that. And then top of the list, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And then for like possible hate watches would be The Flash and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Maybe I don't know that one will go. That one, the Dial of Destiny will either be really, really good or really, really bad. And then there's always the wild cards, the Meg 2 and Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear is going to be a thing.
I can't. That one's just going to be. I'll bring my own canister of like caramel coated popcorn or something. It's just so. There you go.
All righty then. D.
John Wick 4.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to that.
Very excited about that.
Yes.
I will also say I'm looking forward to Quantumania, Across the Spider-Verse, probably number 1. Guardians 3. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm going through this list right now. Something I missed.
I'm less excited about that one because we know somebody's going to die, or we think somebody's going to die.
Everyone makes assumptions. The Transformers Beast Wars movie could be interesting.
That could be really, really good or really, really bad.
Yes.
I don't know. Bumblebee was pretty good.
I know.
It seems like they've started to figure out what Transformers should be. So
and this is based on that this is based on that universe, the Bumblebee universe, not
the shitball Transformers. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm also kind of looking forward to. I'm going through Google right now. Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. Some of the design concepts have dropped, and it looks like they're back to the Turtles a little bit. So I'm a big Turtle fan, so I'm excited by that. Those are the ones I think I'm looking forward to the most.
Not Cocaine Bear.
No, Cocaine Bear's really not for me.
So all right. Okay, first off, I noticed
Oh, Mario
off-
Brothers. Mario Brothers.
Oh yeah, I did not include that one because man, I don't know, but sure. I mean, that could be a good watch. That's cool.
For the child.
The first one I noticed that no one mentioned, Indiana Jones 5, guys.
I said Indiana Jones.
I said that
John.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, we both did.
Dial of
Are
Destiny.
you sure? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did not hear. Oh, maybe I'm losing my hearing in my old age.
I'm putting that up with The Flash. Both of those movies are either going to be really, really good or really, really horrible.
Also,
Yeah,
no one
I think
mentioned
you're right.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey,
No, I'm not because I hate the fact that movie's even coming out.
or the Barbie movie.
I saw that one. I was going to list it along with the Meg 2 and Cocaine Bear, but even I have my limits.
I don't think we're the right audience.
I am looking forward to Fury of the Gods. I really like the first Shazam movie, and I think it's going to be good.
Barbie could go either. I mean, it depends. Did they? I mean, they did. Oh, what was that movie they did with the really old characters from that old '60s show, the Banana Splits? I mean, if they did a Banana Splits with Barbie, I don't know.
I think they're doing the Banana Splits with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, they are. It's a wonderful thing when people lose copyrights. Things become public domain.
I did. This flew under my radar, but now I have a sick curiosity. Wonka.
Yeah.
It's going to be a musical.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of curious. It's. Have you ever gone back and watched the Johnny Depp one?
Yes, I did. I didn't want to, and I won't.
I've
again.
watched it a couple times, and like, there's aspects of it that I like, and aspects of it that are like, no, it was so much better in the first one. You know, I think the music is better in the first one. The
Oompa
Loompa songs are so much more better because they tried to do like this, like more modern, and like you can't understand what they're singing. Like you it's not catchy, you know. Like the original Oompa Loompa Doopity Doo, like everyone knows those.
You eat too much sweets. Yeah, they do.
Right. You cannot sing any of the ones from the new one, or from the Johnny Depp one.
But Gene Wilder. Sorry.
Yeah, Gene Wilder. You're right. That's exactly what I said. Gene Wilder is the key to the Wonka movie because I don't think the Wonka movie would be that great without Wilder. And Wilder's performance is like this subdued madness where he very clearly is a guy who, like Johnny Depp's like, ew, children around him the whole time. There's this Michael Jackson vibe to him, which is what he said he was kind of doing. That's just very on the nose. Whereas Wilder's Wonka is so much more subdued and such a con man character that you never quite know where he's coming from with anything.
Tell him the story. You know the story about the very first scene, right?
Oh yeah, he just did the thing about him just doing the limp, right? Not just like
that goes very wrong with what you were just saying. Like Go ahead, tell us.
He just does the limp, like Gene Wilder decides like the first time he meets him, he's going to limp out there, right? And then he does the roll and pops right up, just to kind of do this whole thing up. You don't know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm going to do, or which makes him dangerous.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of scenes in that Wonka movie where he's scary. Like the very famous one, of course, where he's the LSD trip, you know, where he's going out of his mind. And there's times where he's just cruel.
No,
but at
stop.
the end, no, stop. Like, you know, but I mean the part where like, you know, he's just vicious to some of these people. And then by the end, Charlie warms his heart. Like he's really not a nice character, nor supposed to. Whereas Johnny Depp plays him just so superficial. And again, like Johnny Depp is a good actor, but I just don't think that's one of his best performances. And I also don't think Tim Burton is really the kind of guy to do subtle character work.
No,
it's just not. It's just not him. It's just not the way he thinks.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like he does not get subtle. He puts it all right in your face.
That's Tim Burton. I mean, look at Tim Burton. Like that's just again, we talk about the ideas of we were talking before about subtlety and like, you know, what kind of like how to do visual storytelling. I mean, in Tim Burton's an art, a painter where he wants you to see that, you know, right away. He wants the image to evoke an emotion in you immediately. Whereas Gene Wilder is a performer, right? And he wants to use his performance, not even so much the dialogue, but the performance to tell you about the character. And his Wonka is very nuanced and very spooky, quite frankly. Yeah. Timothée Chalamet is doing absolutely nothing for me, by the way, as you know, I think good for him. He's having a moment right now. He's the new Leo, whatever. Did not love him in Dune. So I'm just kind of like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
he had no personality whatsoever.
is anyone looking forward to Dune Part 2?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'll see it.
That's not going to be on HBO Max again, too, right? That's
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Probably not, because Denny Villeneuve had a fit because of that. And Denny Villeneuve is another one of like another very much case of the image over.
I don't know if that's going to work though. If the first one was on HBO Max, are people going to run out and see Part 2 if they haven't seen Part 1?
Do
in
you
the theater?
think David Zaslav cares? He's trying to squeeze every last dollar that he can. He's taking stuff off of HBO Max right now.
Oh, I know.
They're losing all kinds of stuff because they figured out, hey, there's more money in selling this stuff than there is having a big hub.
Unless they do like the month before Dune 2 comes out, they do Dune it in the theater run, just like a limited run to get people to go and see it, and then boom, here's the second one right after.
I don't know. It's going to be that is going to be a tricky one to market.
Yeah, no.
But I heard seeing Dune on the big screen was a different experience because I saw it at home, and I know people who saw Dune in the theaters seem to have a bigger emotional reaction to it than the people who watched it on streaming.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movies coming out this year, so this is very interesting. Expendables 4.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, that's gonna be when it comes out at home, so I can
apparently a Teen Wolf remake.
Well, no, I think it's spun off from the Tino.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still a remake.
Teen Wolf, having watched it again with my kid recently, let me tell you, sucks. So they can remake it. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there. Yeah, this will be interesting.
You know,
Equalizer 3.
Do you know why people like Teen Wolf, the original? Do you know
Michael J. Fox, right?
Bingo. That's why Teen Wolf is part of the cultural lexicon, because they casted well.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's that movie is so unbalanced. Like
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
How about
very few redeeming qualities?
How about TV shows?
I don't watch TV.
No.
I mean, I can't think of any. Like, honestly,
I look forward to JD finally watching something that we are watching.
Might happen in 2023. We'll see.
There's going to be the spinoff from WandaVision.
The Agatha one.
Yeah.
Agatha, come to cast. That'll watch.
I'm interested.
Echo should be out too, right?
Not interested.
Yeah, I'm not either. Does Loki season 2 come out this year?
I don't see it.
I'm looking.
Secret Invasion does.
Oh, okay.
Wow, dude.
Is there anything?
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to look through stuff right now, and I'm like not getting. I don't know. I looked at the Wikipedia entry for what's coming out in 2023. Hold on. New TV in 2023. Let's see what comes up. 10 shows to look Vogue. 10 shows to look forward to in 2023. Season 4. I don't know what that is. Daisy Jones and the Six. Don't know what that is. I heard Secession is good. Never watched it. Nope. Nothing I want to see.
Season 2 of The Bad Batch.
Didn't watch the first season. It's probably a mistake on my part. Probably need to fix that.
But season 20 of NCIS, guys. Come on.
That show has been on for 20 years. That is wild. I've never seen a single episode.
NCIS Los Angeles is up to season 14 this year. So.
Oh my goodness.
That's great.
Yeah, no, again, like it's hard because regular TV is basically gone now. Like,
yeah, I think really think the only people watching regular TV are old people who just have it on the background.
Well, people that want to watch, the reality TV, and reality TV sucks. So
always has.
Yeah. So like,
I don't know what's coming on like Netflix this year that should be good. Sell me on something, because in the future, Mike Flanagan's making The Dark Tower. So okay, I'm on board for that. Like, I don't know, man. The Marvel stuff, we got so much of it the last 2 years. Like when it was WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, Covenant Chaos is 2023.
And it's like,
I can't wait to see. But like they said they were going to tighten things up and not put out as much. They're going to go quality over quantity now.
They bombarded us with so much stuff.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights, guys.
I'm good.
God, no.
Ironheart. You know what? They said they're not going to bombard us, and yet they've got Secret Invasion, Agatha, Echo.
They were already in production. That's
they're bombarding us with C-list characters. Why do I fucking care?
I don't know.
Well, maybe in Multiverse of Madness we'll figure out why they care.
I mean, I don't know. Like, honestly, like Agatha is interesting to me because I really liked WandaVision. I thought Catherine Hahn was great. But like Riri Williams' Ironheart, she was all right. But I don't know. Do I want to watch a whole show with her? Not really.
I still don't. I'm really starting to think the only reason she was in that movie was so people go, oh, now I'll go watch the show. Like,
yeah,
kind of.
Which was so wasted in that movie.
Which was bad. Yeah, she was Kung Fu Panda, the Dragon Knight season 2 will be on Netflix.
I'm sure I will watch that whether I want to or not.
Yeah, I know, right? Because you got a kid, but it wasn't bad the first season. So
No, that's fine. No,
yeah.
I agree. I'll watch it. I don't know. Like this year, like I got stuff that I wanted, like I got Midnight Mass and, what do you call it? We finished up The Mandalorian and we had, just great stuff in the early part of the year. So see Stranger Things, like I got stuff I liked. I don't think I'm going to get anything I like on TV this year. I really don't.
No, not at all.
I mean, like nothing is nothing is grabbing me. Again, I don't watch enough stuff, and I didn't watch Andor. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Andor was great," but I really didn't like Cassian Andor and Rogue One, so I'm not in a rush. But I'm here. I've heard so many good things from so many people that I think I'm gonna have to eventually.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't watched it yet either. But that'll probably be the show I watch when we're almost done watching Wednesday. I think Andor will be the next one.
But again, it's like. We watched House of the Dragon was great too.
I didn't watch that.
I love.
Oh, another one everyone is talking about. I've never played the games. The Last of Us.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't know. I don't like post-apocalyptic. So
yeah, it's like we had how many years of Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I mean, it's like HBO wants to have their own version of The Walking Dead, and it's like okay, cool. Like,
except in The Last of Us, there really isn't. There's no real Walking Dead in that, isn't there?
No, but I mean, it's still a post-apocalyptic.
It's post-apocalyptic. It's like it's the zombie. It's a zombie show without actual zombies. Right?
Here is something I know you're going to watch.
Wait, on TLC they'll have MILF Manor.
This is something you're going to watch.
Watch in my private time is not your business.
I have not. It's so funny because I have not heard anything about this, but it's going to come on March 1st, guys. The Mandalorian season 3.
What is it?
Yep.
I didn't know about that. Okay.
JD, I know you're going to watch that.
All right, yeah.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
That's after wrestling season 2. I'll have time. Like, really, why aren't I seeing anything?
Yeah.
I don't know either.
They normally.
I mean, they're saying like Secret Invasion is also coming out, but we haven't seen much on that. We got one trailer. That was it.
I guess with The Mandalorian, they don't have to show us a lot because we've got accrued interest.
Yeah.
Right.
Loki season 2, they're saying is going to be mid 2023.
It's mid, all right.
Star Trek
X-Men
Picard
97 is
on
fall.
Paramount Plus. Oh, X-Men 97 too.
All right, now you know what? That I might do.
I'd be interested to see that.
I really liked that show when I was younger, man. The animation is cheeks, but
oh god, yeah, but
it's the closest. The X-Men cartoon show is the closest media interpretation we've ever gotten, like Chris Claremont's X-Men, right?
Yeah,
it's over dramatic. It's like really convoluted and hard to follow, but it's great. That's what the X-Men should be, and that's what the cartoon was. So yeah. Okay.
No,
I'm excited about that.
All right, well there you go. See, I got you I got you excited on.
There's a couple. I don't know, man. Like TV is such a commitment.
Yeah, so I've been rereading a lot of books lately.
I mean,
and about this one too.
Apparently, there's going to be another.
Oh, it's so
season
good, John. It's so good. You are going to love that book, John Telling a Fairy Tale by Stephen King, which was my book of the year for 2022. Like it's Stephen King's Jack and the Beanstalk.
I was out on a date on Friday night, and the woman I was out on a date on said, "This is gotta read that." So,
when I say it, you ignore it. When some piece of ass says it, all of a sudden it's gospel.
No,
I get it. I get it, sir.
No. She is a lovely woman.
I'm sure she is. I'm making a joke.
Not listening, John. Trust me.
But but it's funny. Like
the women in our lives aren't listeing to this shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's be real.
But it's funny that everybody I know that has read this book has been like JD. It's like, oh no, you have to read that. It's like
I think it's the best book he's written since The Outsider, perhaps in the last 2 decades. That's not Tower really.
See, I thought it was like Stephen. I think I made this comment to the woman too. It's like I thought Stephen King looked at Lady in the Water, said, "Oh, I can do that, right?"
No, it's not it at all.
Okay.
Not even.
Well, I mean, like do it right. Right.
It's not like even plot wise, not even similar.
We're also getting a new season of Futurama on Hulu.
Yeah.
John DiMaggio is coming back as Bender, by the way.
I love Futurama, but I feel like what more do we have to say?
Yeah. And the final season of The Witcher with Henry Cavill.
I never watched any of it. So
I don't play video games.
I don't know.
I mean, the show itself was good. The show itself was good. I haven't seen the second season. I heard it was okay. So maybe I'll. Okay, so
he speaks highly of it.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be something that I fill my time with once I run out of books. But I don't think I'm going to run out of books for a while.
Books are good.
Or maybe things will work out with this lady, as you said, and that'll occupy your time. Any books coming out
She
this
reads
year?
books, so
Yeah, I got my best book ever. That's in. I just got it back from my editor. He had some really good suggestions, so I got to go take another pass through on that. And I'll tell you, I don't think I told you guys about this one yet. I'm finally writing a book about pro wrestling, but this is like
you about wrestling.
Well, no, here's something I'm going to try though. I didn't want to make. It's not just a wrestling book. It's a book. It's like basically Midnight Express in Japan with a professional wrestler.
Huh?
Can he kill me?
What's that?
I'll
find someone for you to die. I'll find somewhere for you to die. It's basically a story of a guy who comes to Japan to kind of remake his pro wrestling career, and he winds up getting sucked into the Yakuza. And there's two different stories that run parallel. So one of them, I do the story of like the in-ring character and the story of the guy, and it's like an inverse story where the guy starts out as someone who's caught up, and this character is a vicious heel, and then by the end of it, the wrestling guy is a good guy, and the real life person is like the most deplorable character I've ever written in my life. You know, and I'm really proud of it.
So you wrote a book about John.
John's not the most deplorable character I've ever met in my life. John's a wonderful human being who's going to give me more money for this thing. So no, it's going to be a good one, and then I'm going to try my hand at doing something completely different.
I'm sorry. Not to say anything bit negative about you, JD. I meant, are there any books coming out by authors you like this year?
You meant me. King does not have anything coming out apparently. That might change. You know, there's nothing that I'm like, ooh, I'm super interested in, but that could change as I just read a book called The Three Assassins by the guy who wrote A Bullet Train, whose name escapes. I just forget what it is off the top of my head. It was really fun. You know, if you haven't seen Bullet Train yet, which I didn't see the movie till after I read the second book called Three Assassins, it's really good. So I'm going to go back and read Bullet Train eventually. And I got this Audible subscription now. So I'm going through and just listening to stuff that I've never read. So yeah, I'm just collecting old stuff. So if you have suggestions for older books I need to read, let me know.
I don't know. When's the next Dresden Files come out? Do we know yet?
Not yet. No. Okay. And, speaking of which, I'm just going through with the end of our show with the suggestions. I'm just starting to reread a lot of stuff that I haven't read in a while because I took like a 4-year break from reading, and I'm finally back to reading like a book every 2 weeks now. And I'm rereading a book series by Patricia Briggs.
I see her stuff a lot. What does she write?
See, she's got a couple of series now. She straddles the line. She's got 2 or 3 good series that I think they have romance in them, but they're urban fantasy. And then she's got a couple of series where it's Harlequin urban fantasy. And that seems to be more of a common theme lately with some of these authors that I read. But the Mercy Thompson books are really, really good. And I think that's one of the first ones she started with.
Urban fantasy or like
urban
more
fantasy
Harlequin stuff.
No, that's just straight urban fantasy. It's like, I mean, there's a love story in it too, but it's right up your alley, JD. Vampires and werewolves.
Urban fantasy is basically vampires. I am flirting with the idea of trying to do a mystery. I read a book about, because I always hate the idea of writing the genre, writing the tropes. So I'm kind of like, you know what? I've done it my way for a long time. I'm going to try to do something your way. Like the way everyone tells you how to do it. I don't think I'm going to put it under my own name, because then I feel like I'm free to kind of screw up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And just because I'm just going to try to write because you like Knives Out and this Glass Onion, like the traditional, they call them cozy, but I hate that term because it makes them sound kind of silly. But like a murder mystery novel. I got a book about how to do it, so I'm reading it, and I'm just going to try my hand and see if I can do something. And that's, again, not doing it under my own name. I think I have some freedom to kind of, get outside.
So if you're going to do it under a pseudonym, then you can't promote it on the podcast.
No, I can't. That would defeat the purpose of it.
Yes, it would.
Can't do a Kickstarter for it either. So again, it's taking me out of my comfort zone.
You could do a Kickstarter. You would just have to create a fake account.
Creating the account was not the problem. Promoting it is the problem.
Oh, true.
So again, I'll just try the traditional Amazon. Again, the idea is to do it their way. So I'll try to do it their way.
With Andy Kaufman, what was his alter ego?
Give me a second. It's, God damn it, I could see it.
Oh man,
I know, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Andy Kaufman, alter ego, Tony Clifton.
Yes. So you can create a Tony Clifton.
Kind of. Again, that's same with Kaufman. It gave him a chance to do something different.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. To create a Tony Clifton, go on a podcast as your version of whatever Tony Clifton is, whatever your and I got some murder mysteries for you. Yeah.
So it's a lot of work doing that. I think I'll just do because again, the stuff that I typically write is very much between genres, which is hard to sell traditionally on Amazon.
You give John a fake mustache and have him go out and promote the book.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
What if I just write it to John O'Grady?
It's kind of funny that most of the urban fantasy that comes out nowadays, they lean heavily on murder mysteries or mysteries to drive a good story. Because like if you look at all of the Dresden Files or the Mercy Thompson ones, or God, so many of the others, it's like it's always somebody who's trying to solve a mystery, and like that's the whole thing. It's not like there's not a lot of people that can write straight action based stuff. They're always trying to solve some issue and figure out who's causing it in the beginning,
And that's kind of what I was thinking about too, is just doing, it turns out what I want to write is a thriller, but again, I've decided I'm going to try something different. So I'm going to do these are successful genres. So I'm just going to play. And I read man, there's all these rules that you have to follow, but again, it's an experiment, so I'm going to try something different.
Well, there are rules you have to follow until you figure out a way you don't have to follow them, right?
Well, that's the thing is people say they want to read something. That's what the argument is people say they want to read something different, when in actuality they want to read the same thing over and over again with a different spin upon.
Yes.
All right. So you can't do The Victim with John O'Grady. Maybe you could do Jack O'Murphy.
No, he just said they want to read the same thing, really, of course. So they want to see me get killed many, many times.
Well, I have it would be a whole new audience to kill John in front of.
Yeah. By the way, two of my favorite authors for mysteries was P.D. James and Lillian Jackson Brown. Lillian Jackson Brown did the Cat Who series, a lot of books that are all like the cat who could read backwards, the cat who turned on and off, the cat who saw red. But it's like the cats always gave him a clue as to what where to look next.
It's like the Girl series, Stieg Larsson's The Girl Who Played with Fire and all that stuff, except far less misogynistic.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Brutal.
Still a little bit catty though.
And then finally,
very catty.
Oh my God! Any events you're looking forward to in 2023?
No, I'm looking forward to no events. In 2023,
I don't mean global events. I mean things that you want to do or accomplish, or places you want to go, or someone's getting married that or anything like that.
Have a good date.
You just had one Friday. You said it.
Yes, I had.
So there you go. You're set.
The best date I've ever had.
You hit your goal for 2023 early.
Now that I've had the best date I've ever had, I must have a better date than I've ever had. I would like to continue that run. That would be nice. But beyond that, probably go to New York Comic Con this year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe what's the one, the Wizards? What are they calling it now?
Oh, it's not
Fan
Wizard.
Expo Philly. It was really good last year. So
yeah, we'll check that out. Sure.
Don't have to travel for that. So.
Other than that, I'd probably go to Awesome Con. I would already have to start up. That's going to be soon already. But go to this year. And if that's the case, then I'm looking forward to almost being thrown out by security again as I try to weave my way past somebody's promoter to get an interview.
Sounds good. Yeah, me too. I mean, I can't wait to get to a couple more cons this year and talk to people. It's always fun. JD's looking forward to his next wrestling championship.
State championships coming up in February, Fargo in July. My kid's doing stuff now. We're not pushing him into anything big, but he's having fun. So it's always fun to coach him now, because he's starting to get a little bit more. I'm looking forward to soccer season with him, because I get to just be a parent.
Yeah.
I don't have to, get actively involved.
Exactly. Oh man.
Care. He's out there smiling. Do they win? Do they lose? Great. It's actually kind of freeing, because I find myself getting anxious with
when my son was in Little League, and if one of the what do they call them? Not the umpire, but no, but if there wasn't
coach,
there wasn't a third base coach, they'd ask me to fill in, And it's just like, no, it's too much pressure, especially when my son is out there. It's like,
oh yeah, no. When I'm, dude, again, my guy's 6, so I mean, he's having fun. He's having a pretty good. He hasn't wrestled a pretty good little season so far for him, and he's really, considering last year he was, not great. First year I didn't know what he was doing, and this year he's doing well. And so, like, I find myself getting a little bit anxious. He was supposed to have one today. And I think I said to you before, like he had a fever this morning. So the wife's like, no, he's not going. So I'm like, okay. And then it was like a little bit of relief. It's like relief. Like it was the craziest thing. I'm like, oh, he's not wrestling. Oh, thank God. Like, but it wasn't just like, oh my God, thank God I don't gotta go. It's like, oh, I can turn off these nerves.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
I've been coaching for 20 years and it's totally different with my little kid, because again, if it'd be different if he wasn't he's so serious about competing, like winning and losing. Like, God, he hates to lose in anything.
But he's not your son.
I know it's genetic. It's terrible. But he's also not old enough where he like knows he's supposed to take things seriously or like work hard.
Yeah.
So he hasn't. And again, I can't push that on him. So it's like eventually he'll figure it out himself. But when he loses, God, it's awful.
Yeah.
Because we have like 4-man brackets and every kid gets a medal because again, I'm not one of his parents that cares about that sort of thing. And this is why he got his 4th place medal at his second tournament ever, took it, looked at it, threw it in the garbage can and walked away. It was 5. And my wife took it from me and she's like, why did you shoot? He goes, it's garbage. I didn't win. I hate this sport. I hate all of you. I don't want to talk to any of you people again. And he's just like, 5-year-old is cursing us up and down walking out of this gym. Like, and he doesn't, like, he has a collection of medals in his room, and that medal does not go in there.
So when does he join the WWE?
That's what he wants to do when he grows up.
Oh, God.
He tells everyone he's going to be a professional wrestler. He already told me. He said he's going to go to Mexico and be a luchador. And then when he's done with that, he will go into AEW. He's got his own little mask, and he's got a name, and he knows what his finishing move is going to be. That is I told him he has to go to college. And he can do whatever he wants. So
nice.
That is literally, he walks around with his AEW World Championship title, because I bought him one of those belts last year, and he'll put it over his shoulders sometimes and just walk around with it.
Jeez.
He loves that stuff.
When my son was little, he wanted to own a hotel.
That's ambitious, man.
Yeah.
Was he a Monopoly kid, or did he just love the idea of owning a hotel?
He loved the idea of owning a hotel. And then he said, look, we would all live in the hotel.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
A kid's looking out for you.
Yeah.
Mine wants to go wrestle.
Now he's into art. Now he wants to be a poor artist.
Poor kid. I sympathize.
All right.
Well, how about you, John? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Dateable? I don't know. No, I love what I do, but actually, yeah. When I grow up, I want to finish my freaking book and be an author. That's what I've always wanted to do. But other than that, I don't love my job currently, but I love what I do for work. So, yeah.
That's cool to hear. Not enough people say I love what I do for a living.
It's a hard thing to, I lucked into it. I know how lucky I am that I do something that I absolutely love to do. May not love the people I'm doing it for right now, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day we'll all grow up. All right. So let's bring this in for a landing. So let's go around the room. Any recommendations, or did you learn anything on the podcast this week? Or did you learn anything on our break?
Who first?
And John, you can go first.
I try not to learn much. I am getting older. So I according to my old man card, I need to get set in my ways so that I can yell at people on my lawn. I already mentioned my suggestion, Patricia Briggs, the Mercy Thompson series. It's really, really good. It's been out for a while now, and there's a lot of books, so it'll keep you busy for a while. Yeah, there you go.
All right. JD?
I haven't done anything other than really work, so I don't have anything really cool to recommend. I don't know. I learned I miss podcasting with you guys because we haven't talked in a couple weeks.
Oh,
yeah,
I do. I mean, I really enjoy doing this because I'm just like, I gotta go do a show right now. But like every time I sit down to have these conversations, it's fun. I mean, I was on the show for 5.5 years now, and it's still as fun as it was the first time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The whole show's going to be 10 years this year.
We should do something special for the 10-year anniversary.
Get drunk. No, that's
Perhaps
not
burn
special.
John
We do
in
that all
effigy.
the time. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll all streak in our
Effigy.
neighborhoods.
I live in a
No.
cornfield.
I mean, I could streak in the back 40. The only people that probably see me are the Amish and the deer. So.
Wait, I'm the only one that like lives in a city. That was a dumb suggestion.
It was.
Yeah, let's do that, Dave.
Sure, Dave. Whatever you want, man. Make sure to take
I also
pictures.
live on like the busiest street in my neighborhood, in my area too. So.
So being a Philly guy, you got to run up the stairs like Rocky did with your balls flapping in the wind. Gonna fly.
Oh dear.
Well, I learned
Getting hard now.
that John
Giving him the eye of the tiger.
I learned that John had a really great date on Friday, which means next week he's going to be upset and drinking. Anyway,
I have the bottle of bourbon.
There is
ready to go.
There is a trend that I've noticed over the years.
We love you, John. We really do.
But seriously, best date of my entire life last Friday, like bar none. So I've got a really expensive bottle of bourbon just in case.
I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna say, you know what? I bet it goes well. I think you guys sound like you have a connection, and hopefully she's not crazy, and hopefully you're not too crazy.
She plays video games.
Okay, we already know John's crazy. Don't.
I know. It's okay. Everyone is crazy. It's all about finding the right kind of crazy
Yes,
that makes
matching the crazy. Exactly.
Right. That's what you got. You got to have the right two crazies clicking together. Because like the polls, right? Opposite crazies, they just push each other away fast.
Right.
Well,
Seriously.
hopefully only one of us has
Oh my God.
Yes,
John,
that is my
John,
one blue
John,
joke for the year. Right
John.
there. Done.
John.
Yes.
Good Lord, man. Crass.
All right. I recommend.
You're telling
sir.
me that
You're
I'm
crass.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, there you go.
I would recommend that you go to
I'm
superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews by a good friend Kristen, and so much more. Yes, I hope to be keeping the site more active this year. That's my goal for 2023. So
You gonna put out more articles?
yes. The last thing I wrote was about the firing of Henry Cavill, and I got to get back onto that. So
That may or may not be true still.
exactly. But yeah, and that's it. I don't have any recommendations right now other than if you haven't watched it yet, go watch Wednesday. It's going to get a second season. I enjoyed it. You know, the other thing that I've been watching is old episodes of the Great British Baking Show because I'm boring. And that's it. So on that note, as always, thanks for listening and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.